Hey, so I was just thinking about how lucky I am and I was to be an introvert. I was like probably the biggest introvert you could find. I would never talk, I was always quiet and whatnot. And I was reflecting on how so many of the opportunities I had and the reason I am where I am today, financially, in terms of what I built globally, communities, and all that stuff. It mainly comes from the fact that I was an introvert, and I'm gonna explain. Especially if you're an introvert, watch this till the end, because what's interesting is an introvert can learn to become an extrovert, so you could get to understand that the type of people who are that. But I've never seen an extrovert become introvert, so it's very difficult for them to understand the side of being an introvert. And so I'm making the video because I was super introverted, like the most introvert you can find, and then I developed the skills to also be an extrovert when I need to be, right? But so if you're an introvert, definitely listen to this whole video, because I'm gonna drop different points and really realize like how lucky you are with the fact that you are an introvert, right? So the first point that comes up is, when you're an introvert, you're not spending most, if not all of your time outside partying and just drinking and doing all that stuff. And what that does is it allows you to really figure out something that you want to try out, right? And what I mean by that is, you, like, for example, when I was first starting, I was like, oh, doing YouTube, that's pretty cool. Then from that I was like, oh, doing e-commerce, that's pretty cool. And then I just went to the next thing until I came across certain mentors, got mentors, then built a company. And I've been doing that and scaled that to close to 7 figures by age 23, 24. But it started because of all the time I had on my hand, because I was always home, and I would always watch YouTube videos, and I would watch all sorts of YouTube videos. And my favorite ones were the ones where people would buy their parents their dream home, their dream car, things like that. And so just consuming so much content, it like inspired me to like, what if one day I could do something like that, right? And it kind of like planted the seeds. But also it gave me the time to really study and learn about so many different things, because I was home all day and I had all the time. So I was like, let me just learn different skills and all that. Whereas if I would just have the thought of, oh, I want to go hang out with everyone all the time, I wouldn't have as much time to be able to learn as much as I have learned, right? And then another part is, because I was such an introvert and I was always the quiet person, when I would put myself in the rooms with other successful people, it's like, in a sense, they would like kind of like feel bad for me, and they would approach me and talk to me, and then they would give me opportunities based on that, which was pretty interesting, right? It's like as if things just came to me in that sense, right? And now that I have developed the skills to be able to communicate and do just naturally talk to people, I go and talk to other introverts, because I know what it was like when I was in their shoes, where I couldn't say anything, or I was afraid of, like, if I say hi, it felt like I was gonna get a panic attack and die. So it was also beneficial from that sense that people would just approach me and talk to me, which was pretty cool. But again, I would suggest to look at this point of, especially because at that time I used to obviously think like, damn, why am I so bad at talking to people? Why am I so quiet? My mom used to compare me to other people, like, oh, look, so and so is going to talk to people, so and so is going out doing this, why are you always home? And I always was comparing myself to other people, and I thought like there's just something that's like wrong with me or something like that. But obviously now, looking back, I'm like, it was kind of like a blessing. So I'm making this video so that if you are in the position of, you're like, I'm an introvert, and you're like, damn, I don't know what to do, and so on and so forth, realize, okay, use the time that you have, because you're not going out and doing all that stuff, and actually just investigate what are all the opportunities out there in the world. Don't just go with what's trending, like e-commerce, blah blah. All of that is going to crash, and not many people will, not that it's going to crash, but not many people will be at the top. It's just going to be very few companies that own pretty much everything. Crypto, same thing with that. Don't suggest getting into any of that stuff. That's just because I've done so much studies, and I know that people that are at the top of all this stuff, they're like, yeah, don't get into it. You're competing with robots and AI and algorithms and all that stuff. But go and learn about, for example, sales, right? If you learn the skills of selling, especially direct selling, where you have to go face to face, talk to people, that is very terrifying at first, because that's like the opposite of being an introvert. But if you could learn that skill, then it's like you could always have the potential to do anything else, right? Any company will hire you. Any company will hire people who are good at communicating, persuading, likable, things like that. So go and learn those qualities. All of those are learnable skills. I've probably made videos on it. I made so many videos at this point that I don't know what I've made videos on. But for me, just like this, like when I think of a topic of, oh, this is what's helping me become more successful, I share that, and I am pretty honest with how I share it, right? Like I don't make videos where I hype people up and all that stuff. Like, success isn't as, sexy as people think. It's actually very tough, very hard, and it's not what you see online of people going and traveling all the time and blah blah blah. That's like after 10-15 years of having a business and doing sales, where you could live that. The first 5 to 10 years, it's gonna suck, like really bad, right? Especially if you don't have the mentors. Then it's like, having mentors is like a cheat code, right? And then another benefit for me being an introvert was I was very teachable. I was willing to learn. I was willing to experiment, risk, do all of that stuff. I didn't care about failing. So mentors, I was lucky to find the mentors, because people who have what you want, you'd be surprised how many people who have a lot of money and success, great relationships, things like that, they want to give back, but many people are just not willing to learn, and many people are not willing to change. And I would say willing to change is the most important thing, because many people are always willing to learn a lot of stuff but never apply it. Like, I would say it's better to learn 1 minute of information, consume 1 minute of something, but then go and apply, because that's where you find it's the hardest thing. And when I was in my phase of growing, I just thought if I watch enough videos and learn enough things, that somehow magically my income is going to grow. And unfortunately, that is not the case. And you have to go through the period of fear, pain, panic attacks, and all that stuff. But if you stick through, you will actually come out the other side, and it's the best thing ever, right? And if you need any support one-on-one, if you have any questions for me, anything like that, you could always reach out to me as well. My links to my Facebook, Instagram, all that is in the description. But especially if you resonate, reach out. Like, don't isolate, right? You have the time on your hand, reach out, let's connect, let's chat, and we could hop on a Zoom call and get to know each other. But yeah, hope you got something out of this, and see you in the next one. Bye.